Yeah. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It is the 12 Rounds podcast, and today our special guest is artist, musician, cinematographer extraordinaire, Mr. Mario Nolasco. What's up, dude?
How's it going, man? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem, man. Like, you were one of the ones on the top of my list, man, to get in here. So
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I'm glad you could make it. So today was like crazy getting here because freaking snow's crazy over here. And for those of you listening that are not close to us, we live in the northern part of the States, and we get lots of snow this time of year and here in the Northwest. And man, so like I almost got in a wreck on the way here.
Really?
Yeah. I was trying to take a left, and I had the green light, right?
Yeah.
And the people that are on the other side have, they can just take a right whenever. Mm-hmm. Well, dude just didn't even stop. He just went right through the light, and I was already on my way.
Yeah.
And I tried to hit my brakes, and I just slid all the way freaking into the side, and I couldn't get back in the road, dude. Damn. So life-threatening experience before I got here, man. So, but we're here now, 12 Rounds podcast, man. I'm glad you could make it.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Yeah.
So, man, the come up, man. So we've been around in the same kind of circle for a minute, and seeing you like from the very first time, like doing your thing, and what you're doing now, man, is pretty awesome, man. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like your evolution, and you've always been like a top notch. You've always been like so like meticulous about your art, which is awesome, man. When you first started, man, you did music, man. Right? You did music with your family?
Yeah, so I had a family band with 4 brothers. Mm-hmm. We started a band like 2010, so it's been a minute. And I must have been like, I don't know, like 14, 15 years old.
Nice.
And we had a band. One of my brothers was in a band before I was even born, in a Mexican band. And he always had a dream of like doing his own band, not being part of another band, but his own. He's a drummer. He plays drums.
Oh, nice.
And anyway,
my brother plays drums too.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, you know Cristobal.
Yeah.
Yeah, he plays drums.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
So he wanted to start a band, and at that time, I was getting into music. I was learning guitar, like rock. Mm-hmm. So I was in that stage.
You were a rocker?
Yeah, dude, I was an emo.
Did you have the? Oh, you were the emo. You didn't have the mullet 80s hair.
Nah, I just wear like really skinny jeans and shit. Anyway, so he found out that I was doing music, and he's like, "Hey, do you wanna do something?" And I'm like, "No, like I'm not into Mexican music." I'm like rock all the way. But eventually, he's like, "Well," he's like, "Yeah, I can let you borrow all the drums and stuff that I have if you play with me like a couple of songs." And I'm like, okay. So I did, and then he was like, "Do you want to learn how to play keyboard?" And I'm like, "No."
You're like, "You're already asking too much of me, bro."
Yeah. I said no. I'm like, "No, I'm not interested." And we brought in another guy who would come and play keyboard, but he wasn't around all the time, so there was another guy who was teaching him how to play, but like I said, the guy didn't show up all the time. So my brother's like, "Why don't you just go learn it and then teach the guy when you see him?"
Nice.
So it was like a circle of like, right? Anyway, so it came down to the fact that he ended up teaching me, and then I just learned it. And I'm like, there's no point. Like, I already know it. Yeah. Like, and I didn't want to learn. Like, I didn't want to play keyboard. But.
So you were like, real, like, what do you call it? Just reluctant about, like, being the keyboard player.
Right.
You're like, I'll do it, but I'm going to do it like this because I really don't want to.
Yeah, and then eventually, as time went by, like, months went by, like, I really started falling in love with banda, Mexican music.
Nice.
And like the whole rock thing just kind of disappeared, and I was like, yeah, I think I'm pretty good,
Yeah.
And I started learning by myself, just hearing stuff on the radio at the time, because I know I didn't have YouTube. I didn't have anything. 2010.
What? Where was that? Was that here?
It was here. Yeah,
around here.
I grew up in Twin Falls area.
Okay.
So, yeah, I just learned, and then, as time went by, I started investing more in my time, like playing and like gear wise, and next thing you know, I was just a full blown keyboardist.
Yeah. So you just made the transition from drums to keyboard.
Yeah, from drums, guitar, whatever.
Yeah.
All that. Like I was learning a little bit of everything, and then that stayed like that for almost 10 years.
Dang.
And I learned how to sing, just mainly do harmony, not first.
Yeah, no,
voice, but
I'm the same way. Like I'm not the lead singer by any means, but I can do backgrounds. You know what I mean? Like sometimes, like in some of my, when I used to do music, in some of my verses, I would do like harmonies behind my vocals.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, by not any means of a lead singer.
Sure.
So yeah, and I guess that comes along with being a keyboardist too. Like you develop your voice a lot more too because you're playing.
Right. Yeah.
And like just like with the guitar too, like when you're playing, it's easy to hear the notes that you're supposed to be singing.
Right. Yeah, you understand theory, and then it gets easier.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I transitioned to the video stuff. Because I had a lot of time. Like growing up as a teenager, I didn't really do much. I was a really depressed kid.
Like a homebody.
Yeah, I was just always sad and always emotional.
Hey, well, they say that's like the perfect stuff for writing music. Like
right.
That's the perfect mentality to take what it is and turn it into a good song.
Yeah, I could never fit in, man. Like I try to do sports. I try to hang out with my friends that I grew up with in elementary school and middle school, and at some point we just kind of parted ways, and I didn't feel the same. So it was until I found music that I really want to do this.
Yeah.
And then I did it, and as you know yourself, when you're doing music, you want to do your own music videos, you want to do your own graphic design. Out of necessity, a different skill set is born.
Yeah.
And that's literally where I come from. I didn't think to be a cinematographer, but I always had ideas. Like ever since I was little, I'm like, this location would be cool if somebody shot a video here.
Yeah.
And I picked up the imagination part and the creativity quickly, and it took me. I'm still learning like a lot of things. I've been doing it for a while, but I'm still learning. On.
Yeah, that's the one thing about art, man. It's like it's a never ending. Well, like any art, any art, like music, whether it be like visual art or audio or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's like a never ending learning process. Like if you're a person like us, you can never really be satisfied with what you know, because there's always so much more that you can know, you know what I mean? And it's never ending. Yeah. And you can, especially with music, like you're given a certain amount of notes, but there's endless combinations of those notes that you can play. So, and then you're like, what more can I do with this? How else can I incorporate this with this? That's what I was going to ask you earlier. I was like, did you ever think about like incorporating the rock with the banda? Because I've never heard anything like that before.
There is, but no, like to me at that when I was when I was younger, you just learn kind of what's out there, especially when you're young. You're like, well, either like you don't have very many options, and you're not experienced enough to really. That's not always true, right? But like I feel like when you're a kid, you either go one way or the other.
Yeah, and you kind of follow like what the industry is giving you to.
Right.
Yeah, because it's hard to break.
Because when you grow up, you want to be like somebody.
Yeah.
I feel like it's not until you reach a peak where you're like, okay, I definitely want to stand out now, and you have the tools to do something different.
And I think what that is right there, when we finally start doing that and realizing that we can be our own artist and like develop the tools to stand out, is when we become like okay with ourselves, what I'm saying? Okay with ourselves as an artist, and say, okay, this is me now, and now I want to show everybody who I am. And it's, I've talked about it before, because it really is one of those things, man, that like you can't really say it too many times, but like that's the key to becoming like an artist who gets out there versus an artist who stays in the little bubble.
Right.
And
Right.
because if you're not okay with yourself, and like, because we're our own worst critics, right? We
Right.
can beat ourselves down into the ground freaking 24/7, you know. And then if we take the time to say, okay, I'm done doing that because I am okay with what I'm doing, and now I want to move towards this freaking avenue or whatever. It makes a difference. And especially like with us, when we take on so many different, you know, arts or whatever, you gotta like,
It's overwhelming.
you gotta pick one, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because like I you know, it for me, I just barely discovered that myself too, man. And I've been in the industry for a while, and I just barely realized, like, it's one thing at a time, you know. Set it up, knock it down. Set it up, knock it down. One thing at a time, you know what I mean? Because if you try to take on too many things, you spread your creativity thin, and when you do that, you're screwing yourself, basically. You
Right.
know?
Yeah, and then like I said, it was all out of necessity. So with that, I had to learn how to use Photoshop and audio, like record and everything, a little bit of everything. And it wasn't until I started working with people that they're basically like skilled, right? Like 2 years ago, I joined this company where I'm currently working at, and we do medical education videos and stuff. And it's a full-on production company, and these guys they come from backgrounds that are crazy backgrounds. Anyway, so like them talking about audio or video, anything that I've in a different way, I'm like, oh man, like I really don't know.
Yeah, they use that jargon or whatever, you know. They use the jargon, and you're like, what does that mean? And they're like, oh, it's this, and you're like, oh, well why didn't you just say that? You know, oh, you're just adjusting the level. Why didn't you just say adjust the level? You know.
Yeah, there's a lot of technicality.
Yeah,
and a lot of things that I've learned, but it was a good thing and a bad thing. The bad thing was just getting my feelings hurt, because like, growing up in a small town, when somebody tells you you're good, you believe it, and you believe that until you meet somebody who's 10 times better than you. You're like, oh crap.
Well, that's the thing too. Is like, it's not that you're not good,
right? It's just
it's just
you're
that
just used to it.
Yeah, whenever you meet somebody who has a higher skill level than you, that's the part of us that starts to beat ourselves up with what we
as a creative. Yeah, you tend to do that a lot. And anyway, so I had to learn, to knock that off and not worry about who has what and who does what. Like it did. Like I had a hard time. I really did. Like I really hated on everything and everybody that when I was young. Like this I'm even talking about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
But once you meet the right people, I think, and they don't stomp you. Like if anything, they want to help you.
Yeah.
Like, here, let me help you with what I know, with the resources that we have, and they bring you up. You're like, well, this is a totally different culture and mentality.
Yeah.
So I learned it, and now I'm not that way. I don't feel that way. If anything, I try to help those who need help.
Yeah, and that's a big thing too for artists, especially artists that come from, the same area. Because I've seen it a lot, especially in the music industry, dude. Like, what they call it, crabs in a bucket syndrome. Where have you ever heard that before?
No.
So if you if you take literal crabs and put them in a bucket, they'll try to climb out, right? They'll try to get out of the bucket, and then they'll kind of like form like little clumps, and they'll climb over each other, kind of helping each other get up out of the bucket. But then other ones will come along and see the one that's going to get out and grab it and pull it back down. And that was the biggest thing that I noticed, here, especially here in this area. And I've always been the type of dude who wanted to help everybody. So I don't know if you know, but like back in the day, we had Are You Down Entertainment,
right?
And that was our biggest thing. Like we took on artists that had no other way to like express their creativity because they didn't have money or whatever. And what we did was we just took them in, whatever artists that we believed in, we took them in. We didn't ask anything from them.
Right.
And, we spent all the time in the studios for them, producing merchandise, pressing records, all that stuff. And you know, none of that stuff's freaking. It costs more than a dime, you know. So,
Right.
like, but we did it because we believed in people, and we wanted to, you know, bring people up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you had the other guys that were just like, "Oh man, that sucks. That sucks. That sucks." And that's what kind of kept our, you know, the people in our area from breaking the market.
Right.
Because there's so many times we could have broken the market when back in the day we were doing tours and all kinds of stuff, dude, and we were bringing big names in and whatnot. And everybody kept saying, you know, Boise's a hard market to break. You can't break the Boise market because it's too hard. Well, it's because it's built on freaking the crabs in the bucket syndrome. You know what I mean? Everybody always trying to bring each other down, and I always tell people, like, if you look at like all the artists coming out of Oahu, the small little island of Hawaii, like they all show each other love, dude. And then within the past like 5 years, like so many artists have blown up out of that freaking place with you know, minimal production and you know, homies just shooting videos for homies or whatever. And now it's like, dude, like those guys are doing it. They're just they're touring off the island onto the mainland and doing tours all around and then back onto the island. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From little Oahu, dude, like literally you can drive around Oahu in like an hour or something. I think it took us like about an hour and like 10 minutes, and we stopped and stuff too. But so small, it's a small place, you know what I mean? And if imagine that same amount of like crabs in a bucket type of stuff going on in a small place like that as it was like here, dude, that place would be not, you know what I mean? It would be done.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, I faced that problem, but I think as everything, as like things just kind of happen, I feel like I'm a really big believer of if you work hard, like, you know, like things will definitely get better.
Sure.
And for me, it was stepping away from this kind of the scene, because like at some point they knew who I was. But with that, like, you know, I couldn't work with certain artists because other artists hated each other. And you know, I'm just like, I don't.
And you felt like you were like caught in the middle of it.
Yeah, and so I'm like, you know, at some point, when I was lucky enough to get the job that I landed with that production company, I was able to finally breathe because everything was, you know, I'm trying to survive. That's what I did for a living.
Yeah.
And then you get caught up in these like rivalries. You know, they're not like gang rivalries.
Yeah, it was not like Tupac and Biggie. Or
no,
nothing.
but they're just like social media stuff where people just talk crap about each other. Just same thing you're saying, you know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, for what? You know what I mean? Like, what is that for?
But after I stepped away 2 years ago, I was able to really think about okay, I really want to work on my craft because I feel like I'm putting out too many videos and they're not good. Like, they're good, but I feel like I could make them better.
Yeah.
And that's always been my mentality. And you know, this year and last year, I've been really trying to work on that, especially this year. You know, I stepped away, and the people that I do work with now are people that I make sure that they're not gonna do that.
Yeah.
And if they do, I just say no.
Yeah, it's too much negativity. You know?
Yeah. Like if I see somebody who's problematic, I just say, sorry, dude, I can't help you.
Yeah.
And
I got that thing. Gotta wash my hair and.
Yeah, so now, but like the people that I'm working with right now, I have nothing to say, but I'm really, really grateful.
You're working with you're working with Kerry Judd right now, aren't you?
Yeah, Kerry Judd. He's a really good friend of mine. He's actually one of the people that I consider my stepping stones, right? The main people that I always like to talk about is first Skilly Waves down Twin Falls. He helped me a lot. He helped me really launch my career and get known with a lot of artists around here. And after that, I met Joey Bravo, and he helped me a ton too.
Yeah, Joey, man. It's funny because a lot of us artists can revert back to Joey, you know, like because he's done a lot for everybody.
And
for the music career and for the music community and for the community in general. Like he was just doing what stuff like Stuff the Bus or something.
Right. Yeah.
Just yesterday.
It was
right?
yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, and so, you know, I'm really thankful for him for for everything that he's done. So shout out to Joey Bravo and his family.
JB.
Yeah, and his family and everybody around him really showed me a lot of love. And because of Joey, I met Kerry Judd. And Kerry Judd was the guy who brought me out here to Boise. Gave me a job with his now ex partner or romantic partner, and anyway, so from there I got picked up from that production company. So it all works. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy because I met Kerry. Oh man, 8 years ago, something like that.
Also, sorry, I also forgot to mention Navarro.
Oh yeah,
Navarro was a huge stepping stone for me.
That's awesome.
Sorry, I'm just trying to get everybody. I don't want to miss anybody.
And then you're gonna get a phone call, dude. I saw the podcast. You didn't say my name. What's up with that?
So Navarro. So after Joe, I met Kerry through Joey. You know, I had no way to get up here. I didn't have money. I didn't have anything. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know people, but I not enough to trust them. I was looking for a spot to come up here, and Navarro reached out to me, and he's like, dude, I have a spot. Like, we can trade work. And I was like, oh, shit, you know, like, this is it. This is the opportunity. So we did it. I came up here. I started living in Caldwell for like 8 months. Yeah. Almost a year. But, and yeah, then, you know, I started, that's how I started getting jobs out here.
Yeah, Navarro is a good guy. So, yeah, I've known him ever since. So he joined the Are You Down entertainment team when he was super young. He was part of another group, and I saw his potential. And his brother actually was like, "Hey, man, you have to hear him sing."
Right.
And because I mean, at that time I was taking on artists and stuff, you know. So I was like, "Yeah, cool, I'll hear him sing." And he's like, "Want to hear him sing right now?" And we were at a birthday party or something. I can't remember. So he called up Navarro, and he's like, "Come down here right now." He's like, I got my buddy here that has a record label. He's like, "Come down here and sing for him." Dude, he was there quick, dude. Right? And this I don't know if this story has ever been told over the air or ever in public.
Right.
But so people that know us, you know the story. And Navarro knows what it is, man. That dude's, I mean, I give him props for his evolution all the time.
Sure.
Like, proud of that guy, man. Anyway, so when, you know, he was really young, you know, and he came to the birthday party, and he sang for me. And at that time, you know, I had to be really picky because I could only take on, you know, because it was just me and Joey. So it was me first, and then when me and Joey Bravo started talking more, Joey Bravo came in with me on Are You Down Entertainment. So, and then we both started managing, you know, the artist. But so I still had to be kind of picky on who was going to come in or who wasn't going to come in or who we were going to help.
Yeah. And
so Navarro sang, and I was like, "You're good, but you need some work, you know."
Right.
And so he's like, "All right, man." He's like, I was just nervous, man, and I was like, "That's cool, man. You know, like maybe another time or whatever, you know, we can get together again and see what it is, you know, just put in some more work and, you know, do this and do that or whatever." And then not even 2-3 days later, dude, he's like blowing up my phone. He's like, "Hey, man, can I come sing for you? Can I come sing for you again?" Sure. He's like, That wasn't me, man. That's not how I sing."
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, well, we'll figure it out. And then, he was relentless, dude, like calling me all the time. Can I come through the studio? Let me sing for you again." And finally, he caught me at the perfect time, dude. And I was like, "You know what? Like, I'm in between things right now, and I'm at the studio." I was like, "Come through." And he came through quick, dude. And he came in, and he sang "In the Still of the Night." And freaking, it gave me goosebumps, dude. I was like, "Woo!" Nah, that's what I'm talking about, dude. That's what I'm talking about. And from there on, It was over. Our relationship, like we were stuck like glue. Like I did everything I could to, help him with, getting, further like with his vocals and teaching him because he wasn't a studio artist at all either. So I was teaching him the ropes in the studio, how to lay down harmonies and stuff like that in the studio. And then pretty soon, he's laying his own tracks down, dude. And he would just, because he had a key to the studio. So he would just go in and he would lay down like tracks. And then I would go into the studio and I'd be like, what's this? And I'd play it. And it would be like some freaking hook that Navarro did that was just fire, bro. And I'd be like, what? What is this, dude? He's like, yeah, I was in the studio, man. I had this idea. I just laid it down. And, But, yeah, man, super proud of that dude. But, and Kerry, I met him freaking, I think it was about 8 years ago, dude. And we talked because he was backstage that's when I was still rapping and stuff. And he was backstage because he was doing all the photos for the show. I can't even remember what show it was. But he ended up shooting me a picture that's now my profile picture. Okay. I use it all the time for my profile pic, dude. Yeah. And he hit me up one time because he needed some help because he was modifying some rig or something, and he needed I think he needed something cut, but he needed like a grinder or something. And I was like, dude, I have one. Just come through. I'll cut it. I'll get it all cut for you. Just give me the measurements or whatever. And he's like, how much do I owe you? I was like, nah, dude, I'm like, it's all love, man. We're helping each other, you know? So like, that's one of the guys too. He's always like, well, if you need anything from me, man, just let me know, you know? Yeah. So, and to me, like, I feel like that should be the base of all of our freaking careers as we're coming up,
right. Yeah.
Just to help each other. But
yeah, definitely. I definitely still, I think it's important to credit the people that have helped you. I think I don't see that a lot. I don't see that a lot anywhere. So I want to make sure people remember and understand that I'm thankful because I'm still not done. I'm somewhere good, but I definitely have a long way to go.
You hear it a lot too, man. You hear a lot of people like, I'm self-made. I did it on my own. I didn't have nobody to help me. And then you're like, huh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Because even me, like, even though that, like, so back when I was doing my thing, dude, like, it was straight footwork. There was no,
right. Yeah.
Like, I had to straight go talk to the PDs and the MD, the music directors and the program directors and, like, get my own contracts. Like, back then it was, like, the actual record stores.
Sure.
So I had to, get my own contracts with the record stores to get my albums put out in records and go talk to the DJs to get my stuff played on the radio and pay because back then, if you threw a little money, people's way, they would do it. But for the most part, they would just reject you. They would just throw your tape out the And I guess I just dated myself right now, too, when I said throw the tape out the door. But yeah, dude. So it's been cool, like your evolution, just like you said, man. Yeah. You came over here and you believed in yourself enough to put it all on the line. Like you said, you came here to Boise or to the Nampa, Boise, Caldwell area with nothing to give it a shot, man. Yeah. So that's bravery, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I just knew. I don't know. I'm like, it just has to work. Like, if it doesn't, I don't know what I'm gonna do. My family had a hard time believing, because like I'm the one who's breaking up the curse.
Yeah.
Right.
Breaking the chain.
Breaking the
cycle, or whatever.
Nothing negative towards my family. Just that they're not used to the idea that you can make a living off of something else that's not hard labor.
Como que vas a hacer? I'm peliculazer.
Right.
And like, what do you mean you're gonna make movies? Or like, what is that? You can't, but
yeah, like I did what I had to do, and I think they have a different type of respect for me now.
Yeah.
They don't say anything anymore. They're just like, we knew, man. We
believed in you the whole time.
I'm like, oh, you did it.
Yeah. No, that was the same thing with me too. My family thought I was crazy, dude. Like putting all my chips in the basket, man. But that's what separates, like, you know, people like you and all the other artists that you know, give it a chance and freaking roll the dice and put it on the line, you know. So what's next, man? I mean, let us know, like, just about a few projects you've been working on. What do you got coming up next? Or
right now I have a brand new music video with Poons. It's called Reflect. We shot it a couple months back, but he released it a few weeks ago, and it's on YouTube. Poons Reflect official music video. Yeah, we had a lot of fun with that music video. It's a story about him being young and just kind of his main milestones in life, and you know, it's very short, but it's I think it's a really nice piece of
nice
cinema that we created. And I also have another music video with an artist named Vera, and she's like rock.
Oh, nice.
Rock, and she's here from the area as well. She's got a good following. She's got like 2 million listeners on Spotify. It's pretty crazy.
Oh, wow.
And like 15,000 followers on Instagram.
Wow.
And I'm really excited to work with her. And it's a 1950s noir cinematography. It's really dark. It's a housewife kills her husband for cheating on her. And it's wild. I gotta show you once we're done. I'll show you the little preview. It's not out yet. It's gonna be out on December 9th. So I'll be talking about that. And then I just shot a music video last night with a buddy of mine named Joplin and another artist named Raya, and they're from Ontario, Weezer. Both, one's from Ontario, one's from Weezer, and we shot a music video yesterday, and it's really cool. It's really different. And then I have another music video in a couple weeks with
dude, you're like a machine, dude.
Yeah, I have another music video with Jay Brown and Taos, and it's gonna be like a 90s theme music video.
Nice.
So really, so there's a lot of stuff coming out. And then also we got that promo for Nampa Pal Boxing. Shout out to Johnny for letting me use the spot, and for you know being a great dude.
Johnny Rodriguez.
Johnny Rodriguez, yeah.
Did you tell him you knew me?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, MAG.
Yeah.
What's up, MAG?
Yeah, because he was like, who are you? How do I know you? I'm like, oh, Joey Bravo. He's like, oh, right. And then I'm like, I know MAG and Crystal Wall. And he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so
I've known him forever.
Yeah, so he's really cool, solid guy, and I'm really excited to put that out. I'm gonna go back tomorrow to go and interview. So to finish, because we're doing it in small segments, doing interviews with him and the owner,
nice.
and interviewing some of the guys that go there, some of the kids.
Yeah, Johnny was actually supposed to be on the podcast, but
he told me
he's like, I don't know, man. I'm too nervous, man. You know.
He told me because I told him I was gonna be here, and he was like, yeah. He's like, I just don't know what to say. I'm like, well, it's you just say stuff.
Yeah, I mean, when like normally he's the type of dude who just talks. Dude, he can talk forever, and I've watched him like just pick somebody in the crowd and be like, oh yeah, you're from Ohio. I've been through Ohio one time. Yeah, the weather's great there, and he'll just go like, damn, dude, I didn't know you were in Ohio. You know, like.
Yeah.
But he's a talker, so I'm like, dude, all you gotta do is just be normal. And
so I'm hoping he eventually. I'll try to talk him into coming. Next time I'll see him tomorrow. I'll be like, dude, you gotta go.
But his son is an artist too. I don't know.
Yeah, he told me. He told me that he started showing me all the videos of him.
Yeah, we're supposed to get a video going for him too. He's amazing, dude. I've watched him so ever since he was a small boy, man. He's been.
Really?
At first, he started with mariachi, dude. So he played. Yeah, he played in a mariachi band, and then he kind of evolved it, and then into the rap scene, and then now he's found his niche or whatever you want to call it, Nietzsche.
Yeah.
Where he plays. I mean, he's like on some Santana vibes, bro.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. He's really good. I saw. It was funny because I was cleaning up after the shoot, and he comes up. He's like, "Hey, dude, this is my son. You got to hear him." And then he shows me, and I'm like,
Did he play?
I'm like, he's pretty good, yeah. Like,
oh, nice.
he showed me videos on his phone, and I was like, oh, that's pretty good. he's like, yeah, dude, we should do something. I'm like, yeah, I mean, let me know. And then he asked me about AG.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I know him too. You know, I've done some videos for him too.
My brother has a video of AG and Johnny's son, Von. What does he go by? Von Riguez or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's something like that. Forgive me, I can't remember, but because I always, I just always know him by his name ever since he was small. And then my nephew, which is Cristobal's son, so Cristobal's son plays the drums, and then AG plays guitar, and so he played the rhythm, and then Johnny's son played the lead. And they're just jamming out, dude. And oh man, I was like, man, these three should just like start doing something, Like it was like the vibe where they didn't even need to have vocals because it was straight like a Santana vibe, dude. Or like Malo, or like remember those bands, Malo, or even like Jorge Santana. But yeah, I wish that kid all the success too, man, because he's like every teenager, you go through your little stages where you kind of become a recluse and then you rebel and stuff like that. But since he's found his niche or whatever, dude, freaking, he's really becoming like solid and giving his all to that. And you can tell too. Yeah. Which is awesome.
For sure.
And those are the kinds of things too. Like I told Johnny, I was like, man, like, and you're part of that. That's your son. So, like, of course, like, you're helping with that transition or whatever. So, those are cool things to talk about. But, why don't we just take a second and give a shout out to all your handles for all your platforms, how people can find you, how they can book you.
Sure. Just follow me on Instagram at Interval Films. So I changed my name from Interval Studios to Interval Films. And on Facebook, me, Mario Nolasco, and at Interval Films. And then YouTube, the same thing. And then if you want to book me, probably Instagram's the easiest way. And then I'll give you a link to my website. And
just a direct message there.
Direct message, and then I'll send you over to the website.
Nice. Yeah. Nice. Well, I appreciate you coming through, man.
Yeah,
it's been a while. We need to catch up anyways, so it's cool to get you in here.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Just like I said, you were on the list, on the top of the list. So I'm glad we got to figure it out. I know last week you were gonna come in on the drop of a hat for me, dude, and I really appreciate that too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So until next time, man. I wish you all the luck, brother, man, and I know it's not gonna be too long before we're gonna be like, let's go check out that movie by freaking Mario, man. He directed this movie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Likewise with Humble Vision and the podcast and everything that you guys are doing.
Appreciate it, man.
So I wish you guys the best, and if you guys ever need anything, let me know.
I appreciate it, man.
I'm more than happy to help out. Yeah.
Vice versa, man. If you need a couple extra, guys with bad backs or whatever. All right, man. Our guest today, Mario Nolasco, Interval Studios, a.k.a. Interval Films. You can find them on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Till next time, y'all, the 12 Rounds Podcast.